everybody. We're so excited to have on today the extraordinary Geetha Gopal. She's PMI's Future 50 awardee, automation and AI expert, and just freshly graduated from the University of Oxford. So thank you so much for joining us today, Geetha.
It's my pleasure to be here with you, Hannah. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, of course. So when we met last week, you continually brought up the importance of understanding the purpose and strategy behind every program and project. So today we're going to just focus in on programs a little bit. So programs and strategy implementation, how do you link those two things together, or how are they related?
Okay, yeah. Strategy is an organization's path to reach their vision, right? And the organizations should choose programs that support their strategy. So this is how I see this, and I always believe that good programs are those that are aligned with organizational strategy and that help the organization achieving its vision, basically. And I want to, I always want to be associated with projects or programs, not based on their dollar value, but based on their importance to the organization. What difference can we make to our organization by running this program? And what difference can we make to our customers by doing these programs? That's my actually gauge when I choose, which projects or programs I want to be associated with. So that's my answer to that question. I also believe that programs are shouldn't be seen as separately. Programs should be seen as building blocks to organization, building blocks to organizational strategy.
Yeah. So you said that you want to be associated with programs that contribute to organizational strategy. As a program manager, though, how do you ensure that you're committing yourself to the right ones?
Again, I ask myself this question, what is the strategic importance of this program? Why are we doing this program? So what is the end result? What is the goal? What is the outcome? Who's going to benefit from this? And what do I learn from this? So these are the things that I always ask. I will never ask myself, do I know enough things to run this program? Do I have the technical background? That's, I think, fortunately or unfortunately, that's the last thing I always think about. I always think about, why are we doing this program? What can we learn from this? Who can I work with on these programs? These are the things that I ask before I commit to programs. And it does not matter, like I said, the dollar value does not matter, as long as it is the strategic importance. It's going to make a difference for our organization. It's going to put our organization on the on par with with the next tier of companies. Then why not?
Right. What are some obstacles that stand in the path of ensuring strategic alignment in your experience?
Right. So I would say political, economic, and even social causes. Social reasons. So if I say economic, what I mean here is the costs associated with programs. Most of the projects or programs, good projects or programs, get dropped because of cost reasons, for obvious obvious reasons. Cost is one of the factors why good projects sometimes get dropped. And we've in major program literature, and there is a justify that or to prove that cost is one of the factors that actually kills projects, kills programs. And at the initial stages, when a program manager when a program manager submits a proposal for say $5 billion, for sure it will get rejected at the first instance. And on the other hand, if we see evidence for projects that get approved for 1 billion, and then slowly the costs and scope get added, and again comes up to the 5 billion. So that's a kind of a strategic misrepresentation that fortunately or unfortunately gets projects started. Right. So economic reasons, people get cautious. You burn your fingers once, then you're cautious the next time. So economic reasons. So when I say political reasons, what I mean here is the opposition. So just like how you have opposition as a check and balance system in every country, we also have oppositions in our organizations. So that's that's a strong factor, but it's good to have check and balance. But again, I think it's a if depending on how the program team or how the senior management puts this forward, I think it is possible to overcome those obstacles.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And then the last factor that I mentioned was the social components, like, for example, data privacy. Let's take data privacy, for example. That's it can make or break programs, right? So, and when you start a program where the question of data plays a big role, and how you address that to get the support of the people in your organization, in your country. So these are some of the factors that I feel that hinder or cause obstacles to programs.
Right. And last of all, last week you mentioned to me that there was a crown jewel in your programs that you've run before. Can you give us an example of that program that you've been on that you thought really contributed to an overall organizational strategy? Great success.
Right. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. That's like my most special thing. So that put me on the, how to say, pedestal of AI, and a background, gave me the AI of running AI projects and so on. So yeah, in 2016, end of 2016, my previous employer, I worked for an automotive giant, a German company, for almost 10 years. And in 2016, by then I was running data center projects and other large contractual, investments. But then they decided to do an in-house research project, and they allotted 50% of my time to research open source solutions, and to see how these open source solutions can be made into products for our organization. So I do not come from a development background, so this is a one of a kind experience for me, and I just took it. And the good thing about this was my senior management backed us up, and they gave a couple of developers with Python knowledge, and then we started a small in-house incubator team, and we explored all the open source solutions and integrated that into our infrastructure. And then we over a period of time, like within say 1 year, we built a robust product that became that became a talk of the organization, simply because we do not have to invest any money on this, and it's an in-house product, and it has integrated into our infrastructure, which is a big deal. And it is able to automate most of the things for which we had to rely on human efforts. What took 5 days now takes 5 minutes. So, and the end user has the ability to implement these themselves without having to go through a ticketing system, go through our operations team, who again has to validate the ticket, perform the backend activity, and then so on. So that's how we converted most of our internal processes from 5 days to a matter of minutes, if the users have the right access, and irrespective of where they are situated, whether they are in Australia or in Dubai or in Portland, USA, and so on. So, and slowly it became a much talked full-fledged product, and then we set up instances of these for our for our companies in NAFTA, in Europe, and so on. Got presented to the board. It won a competition called as the CX Asia Awards. Competed with like a whole. It competed with all the countries, with all the companies across Asia, and then won a special honorary mention on digital transformation, and so on. So that I think that that is a project that was not meant to be that way. Was started as a small pet project for a senior management, and then that put us on the path to this kind of and it became this big, and in turn it also helped to spin off other projects or initiatives in our organization. So other research teams picked up this idea, and then they started investing in other research, similar research on AI. And yeah, I think that was the best part of my experience. And I think that also I believe that it's because of the openness to embrace something that you have not tried before. And it's okay to fail, but you fail fast, you learn, keep, be iterative, listen to the customer, listen to the end user. I think, being a project management person, to go into product management without any experience was a whole new experience for me. And I believe listening to, now I'm more, aligned to listening to the user, listening to the end user, see what they want rather than just, no, this is what I have planned, this is what I have to do. It changed me, it moved me out of that mentality.
Yeah, definitely.